Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because check out what's behind me. It's a 2024 Mazda CX90. Now the CX90 came out this year and is replacing the Mazda CX9. I am so excited to dive into this like rebranded mid-tier luxury three-row SUV and tell you how it would function for a family. I've actually been driving this car for a week as a mom of three and I'm excited to give my thoughts. If this is your first time joining me, hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the Car Mom. I review cars for moms and families. I'm a mom and a certified child passenger safety tech. And let's get started on the brand new Mazda CX90. So I want to talk about Mazdas for a second because they are kind of falling in the same camp as like the Subarus of the world. Like they're not the biggest mass market vehicle. They kind of stand on their own. They kind of do their own thing. And that's really clear in this Mazda CX90 because this car is not cheap. This is a slightly higher price point than a vehicle like the Explorer, the Palisade, and it's kind of like pushing that $60,000 price point, which is bold to do for a non-luxury car. I want to talk about the exterior because I actually think it's a pretty good looking vehicle for the most part. I like a lot of the design elements on it, like the front end grille with all of this nice chrome detailing. It is a very long hood, and I feel like although I like the styling of the car, some of the proportions seem a little off for me and my personal taste. This is a very long hood. And what you have to remember when you're looking for a family vehicle is you can't always pay attention to things like curb length, because curb length does not always mean more interior room, and that's very clear in the CX90 because a lot of the length comes from this giant hood, which of course doesn't give you and your kids any more room. Let's move along to the side profile. It's kind of giving like Tesla Model X meets BMW X5. Are you guys seeing that? Look at how big these doors are. These doors are huge. They almost look like minivan doors. Like I'm surprised they can't slide. So that's where I'm kind of talking about. I feel like just some of the proportions are slightly off, but again, I love the styling elements. I think the chrome looks really nice. I love the chrome down there with the Mazda embedded into it. And then the two-toned wheels with the matching fenders also look really great. And from the back, they're keeping it pretty simple, pretty basic. It's not my favorite back end. I think it looks a little dated, especially compared to like the side profile of the vehicle. But overall, it's a good looking car. Like I said, it's giving me very much BMW with some good styling, with some kind of wonky proportions. But let's get into the interior. We are going to break down the technology, the luxury of this car, and then we're going to get to the car seat setup. Okay, you guys, take a look at this interior. It's giving luxe. I mean, look at this like saddle brown with this two-tone black around the steering wheel with the chrome detailing. This is what I'm talking about. This car is feeling very high end. If you go over to the door panel, you'll see we have that same color scheme with the black and then the contrast stitching. We have some like suede material right here. I like it. My sister who's behind the camera said it's giving cowhide. Here's what I want to know though. What's it look like in 100,000 miles? That's what we want to know. What does it look like after my kids get Cheeto dust on it? Can you recover from that? That's the question. I wish I could answer for you, but I didn't want to trash this press car. Okay, let me get you on the other side. We'll start her up and look at the tech. This thing is fully loaded. We have heads-up display in this car, which I'm very excited to see. We don't see this in a lot of non-luxury vehicles, so I'm liking the heads-up display. We also have a completely digitalized dash, and then we move into this infotainment system. And this thing is a little wonky, and here's why. Apple CarPlay, it operates great. It's a touchscreen. You guys know Apple CarPlay. You're familiar with it. If we take off Apple CarPlay, it's no longer a touchscreen. For why? Like, so you're saying the tech is there, but Mazda's like, we don't like it though. So you have to use this little touchpad right here, which I know you'll get used to it. And I know all of that things. And I know some people prefer it. So give me both. You already have the tech. In what world would you not give me both? Give me the option. Let me choose. My car, my choice. Wanted to quickly show you the camera. Super high definition, front camera, back camera, surround view camera. Really good safety tech on this car. It also has, I found this kind of interesting. It came on a few times when I was driving. It has a distracted driver alert. So I guess somewhere there's cameras watching me, or maybe it just like notices if I'm like swerving a little bit, and it says distracted driver alert. So there was times where I'd be like looking over there. I mean, I'm a safe driver, I promise. I don't do anything like that. And it would tell me I was being distracted. And you know what? It wasn't always wrong. Moving down here, we move into our climate control. Heated seats, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. I'm going to be honest, it was 103 in Missouri this week, and I felt like this car and these little vents could not keep up. I don't know what it was about it. Some cars I just feel like have better ventilation than others. This one was tough. super tough in the back seat, but I'll get to that in a little bit. Cup holders, lame. Don't fit my Stanley. This was happening to me all week. Scary. And then we move into the iDrive display that like we already talked about, auto hold, and then kind of a tiny center console for the size of the car. So for the most part, I'm impressed with the design. I personally feel like this isn't a car that's trying to look luxury but by putting cheap materials. I think the materials and the fit and finish feel really nice. I think the tech from like a feature standpoint is there. Just a few little like weird quirks like the lack of touchscreen, the small cup holders, the smaller vents that I feel like Mazda could have done a little better on. But let's get to the second row, the third row, the trunk space, the car seat setup, and just really see if this could be a family car. Okay, so the Mazda CX90 comes either a 6 or a 7 passenger, depending if you get the bench seat or a captain chairs. That means there are 2 seats in the third row and 2 to 3 seats in the second row. I have the captain chairs option today, and this is a Collect Link car seat installed rear facing. I have this seat set for myself at about 6 feet tall, and I'm very impressed with the clearance of this car. I have a couple of inches of clearance there, which feels really good. As far as the car seat hardware is concerned, in this 6-passenger model, I have lower anchors and tether anchors in the captain's chairs. In the third row, I have 2 tether anchors and 1 set of lower anchors. Okay, here's a shot of me in the second row of this Mazda CX90, and look at my knee clearance. It is a very comfortable second row with a lot of nice amenities. I have built-in sunshades, I have door cup holders right there, heated seats and ventilated seats in this Premium Plus trim level. So I have my own little console right here with 2 cup holders. Check this out. Some extra storage underneath there that the driver could also access if needed. And then actually a bigger center console than my one up there. Like very nice and deep. So that's interesting. A nice leather back pocket. The seats are on track, so they're adjustable. They can recline. Truly the only thing I'm missing back here to give it an A+ are ceiling vents. My only vents are these itty bitty teeny 2-inch big vents on the back of the center console, and that is not enough ventilation for this car, especially with rear-facing children. I mean, guys, my kids' backs were sweaty this week. I really need ceiling vents, you guys. I just really do. If you're wondering which vehicles have ceiling vents, I have a whole list on my website. We can leave a link to it in the description box below. It's really tough with rear-facing kids in the summer to not have proper ventilation. Okay, I want to talk about third row access. It's not a car seat tilt, and the Mazda CX-90 used to be a car seat tilt, but I believe it was only when you got the bench seat, not the captain chairs, which is kind of unique. That's equally frustrating because as cool as that like center console thing is, that is not removable. So if you are wanting third row access with car seats, they're getting in through the trunk. That's what my oldest had to do all week, was climb in through the trunk, and it worked, but I'm going to be honest, it was kind of a pain in the butt. Your standard third row access is this lever up here. It tilts and slides forward, and then you have a little bit of access that way. Okay, you guys, here I am in the third row of this Mazda CX-90, and let's talk about the good and the bad. So the good is I like only 2 seats back here. I like 2 seats because I'm actually comfortable. I'm not sitting on a buckle, and I was actually able to install a car seat comfortably here. This is the Graco Slim Fit 3LX, and what's great about the Mazda CX-90 third row is you see how nice and deep this seat is? Look at this. I have like almost an inch or 2 of clearance with the car seat installed. So often manufacturers make their third row seats very shallow, and they do that so on paper they can tell you the vehicle has more leg room. However, that doesn't always mean that it's better for car seats. So this Mazda CX-90, it's not winning any awards for leg room, but it's actually very good for a car seat installation. I also have good amenities back here. I have cup holders, my own USB-Cs on both sides, but my vent situation is not it, you guys. This is it. That's my vent. It's not even close to my face. I mean, even for my poor like forward-facing kid back here, he has nothing but this, and then that little 2-inch one I showed you earlier. Like, it is not it for ventilation. I don't always know if I think ceiling vent should be a total deal breaker for a family, but in this car specifically, like, my kids were hot. That's what I'm going to say. So if you live in a hotter climate and you've got kids in car seats, I would really, really put that on your consideration list. Besides that, it's comfortable, it's spacious. I mean, good head clearance, especially for the size of the car. This is a smaller through SUV, so the fact that I still have good head clearance, good elbow room in this third row vehicle feels good. So let's go check out the trunk. It's not the worst trunk, however, it's not going to fit this stroller. So this is just the single Mockingbird stroller. We tried a few different combinations, and as you can see, there's just not a lot of room here. So you would definitely need a more compact stroller to fit. I was hoping to try to have a little bit of extra storage underneath here to fit the stroller, but as you can see, it's just like a bunch of compartments that don't really do a lot for me. So that was kind of a bummer. So it's not the worst size trunk. It's just not very tall either, which can make it a little bit difficult. The seats are super easy to fold down. I love that. They're not power. That's okay. I don't have the time for power seats. We have an outlet back here, and that's kind of the trunk space. I'm not disappointed in it. Like I said, for the size of the car, I feel like they prioritize third row comfort over trunk space, and I'm kind of okay with that, but tough for a stroller. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to watch this Mazda CX90 tour. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts on this unique three-row SUV are, and I'll talk to you next time.